Exercise 3. Imago Workup. Review Chapter 3. Time, approximately 30 to 45 minutes. Purpose? This exercise will help you record and summarize the information you acquired in Exercise 2. Comments? You can do this exercise individually. Directions. 1. Take out a blank piece of paper and draw a large circle, leaving about 3 inches below the circle. Divide the circle in half with a horizontal line. Put a capital B above the line on the left side of the circle, and a capital A below the line on the left side of the circle. 2. On the top half, next to the B, list all of the positive character traits of your mother, father, and any other people who influenced you strongly when you were young. Lump all the positive traits of all these people together. Don't bother to group them according to individuals. List these traits as you recall them from childhood. Do not describe your caretakers as they are today. Describe them with simple adjectives or phrases like the following: kind, warm, intelligent, religious, patient, creative, always there, enthusiastic, reliable, etc. 3. On the bottom half, next to the A, list the negative traits of these key people. Once again, lump all the traits together. This list of positive and negative traits is your imago. 4. Circle the positive and negative traits that seem to affect you most. 5. In the blank space below your circle, write down a capital letter C and complete this sentence. What I wanted most as a child and didn't get was... 6. Now write down a capital letter D and complete this sentence. As a child, I had these negative feelings over and over again. For the moment, ignore the capital letters. They will be referred to in Exercise 5. Exercise 4. Childhood Frustrations. Review Chapter 2. Time, approximately 30 to 45 minutes. Purpose? This exercise will help you clarify your major childhood frustrations and describe the way you reacted to them. Comments. You can do this exercise individually. Directions. 1. On a separate sheet of paper, list the recurring frustrations you had as a child. 2. Next to the frustrations, briefly describe the way you reacted to the situations. You may have responded in more than one way. List all your common responses. Put the capital letter E above your reactions. For example, frustration. Didn't get enough attention from my older brother. Response: was a pest. Kept trying to get his attention. Frustration. Father often gone. Response: sometimes I was angry. Usually tried to please him. Frustration. Felt inferior to older brother. Response: resigned myself to my inferiority. Tried not to compete directly. Frustration. My father drank too much. Response: tried to ignore it. Sometimes I would get stomach aches. Frustration? My mother was overly protective. Response? I kept things to myself. Sometimes I was defiant. Exercise 5. Parent-Child Dialogue. Review Chapter 9. Time, approximately 30 minutes. Purpose. The parent-child dialogue is designed to help you deepen your memory of your childhood and increase your empathy for each other. Comments. Decide who will be the child and who will be the parent. The partner playing the child role acts as if he or she were a young child of a specific age and talks in the present tense. The child selects which parent he or she wants to talk to. The child may select both parents or any other significant caretaker. The partner playing the parent takes the role assigned, but responds with more compassion. Directions. 1. Sit face to face. The parent says, I am your mom or dad. What is it like living with me? If the parent is dead, use the past tense. The child regressed to a specific age, then describes painful childhood experiences with the parent by saying, I am X years old. Living with you, mom, dad, is... The parent mirrors those memories in an empathic tone that, most likely, contrasted with the behavior of the actual parent. 2. The parent asks, what is your deepest hurt with me? The child replies, my deepest hurt with you, mom, dad, is... The parent mirrors the child. The child continues the conversation by filling in the following sentence stems in order. What hurts me about that is... I'm sad about that because... What I'm afraid of is... 3. The parent says, what do you do when I hurt you? The child says how he copes with the pain. Examples. I go to my room and cry. I get angry and strike out. The parent mirrors the comments with empathy. 4. Next, the parent asks, as your mom, dad, what do you need from me the most that I am not giving to you? The child says, what I need most is... The parent mirrors the statement and then validates the child's pain and the underlying need by filling in the blanks in the following remark. It makes sense to me that you feel and that you need, given that I... As an example, it makes sense to me that you feel alone and frightened, and that you need me to pay more attention to your needs and feelings, given the fact that I am so emotionally distant from you. 5. Now, step out of your roles. The parent says, I am no longer your mom or dad. I am your partner. Thank you for sharing that with me. The partner responds, I am no longer your child. I am your partner. Thanks for listening to me. 6. Switch roles and go through the exercise again. 7. Now, on a sheet of paper, each of you write a summary of what you learned about your partner's pain and frustrations from childhood, and what your partner needs to heal those wounds. Review each other's summary statements for accuracy. Do not criticize your partner for any inaccuracy. Just correct the text until it fully reflects your experience. 8. When you are through, share your experience doing the exercise. Exercise 6, Partner Profile. Review Chapter 3. Time, approximately 30 to 45 minutes. Purpose. This exercise will help you define the things you like and don't like about your partner, and compare your partner's traits with the traits of your imago. Comments. Do this exercise individually. Do not share this information at this time. The Behavior Change Request Dialogue exercise will help you make constructive use of this information. Directions. 1. On a separate sheet of paper, draw a large circle, leaving 3 inches of blank space below the circle. Divide the circle in half with a horizontal line, as you did in Exercise 3. Put the capital letter F above the line on the left side of the circle. Put the capital letter G below the line on the left side of the circle. 2. On the top half of the circle, beside the F, list your partner's positive traits. Include traits that first attracted you to your partner. 3. List your partner's negative traits beside the G on the lower half of the circle. 4. Circle the positive and negative traits that seem to affect you the most. 5. Now turn back to Exercise 2 in your notebooks and compare your imago traits with your partner's traits. Star the traits that are similar. 6. On the bottom of the page, write the letter H and complete this sentence. What I enjoy most about my partner is 7. Now write the letter I and complete this sentence. What I want from my partner and don't get is... Note: your comments will make sense to you when you complete the next exercise. Exercise 7, Unfinished Business. Review Chapter 2. Time, approximately 15 to 20 minutes. Purpose. This exercise organizes the information from exercises 2 through 5 into a description of your unfinished business, the hidden agenda you brought to your love relationship. Comments? Do this exercise separately. Directions. On a separate piece of paper, write down the following 5 sentences. Complete the sentences by filling in what you wrote beside the appropriate letters in the exercises referred to. 1. I have spent my life searching for a person with these character traits. The traits that you underlined in A and B from Exercise 3 in your notebooks. 2. When I am with such a person, I am troubled by these traits. The traits that you underlined in A in Exercise 3, Step 3 in your notebooks. 3. And I wish that person would give me C from Exercise 3, Step 5 in your notebooks. 4. When my needs aren't met, I have these feelings. D from Exercise 3, Step 6. 5. And I often respond this way. E from Exercise 4. Exercise 7 completes the first portion of the exercises. You now have a relationship vision a description of your imago, a record of your early frustrations and coping patterns, a chart listing the things you like and don't like about your partner, and a sheet that describes the hidden agenda you brought to your relationship. Exercise 8. The Imago Dialogue. Review Chapter 9. Time, approximately 45 to 60 minutes. Purpose. This 3-step exercise will train you to 1. Listen accurately to what your partner is saying. 2. Understand and validate your partner's point of view. And 3. Express your empathy for your partner's feelings. Comments. Do this exercise together and often. The Imago Dialogue is a very effective tool for communication, mutual healing, and deep connection. It is the central therapeutic process in Imago relationship therapy. At first, it will feel like an unnatural, cumbersome way of talking, but it is an excellent way to assure accurate communication. With practice, the exercise will seem less mechanical. When you have the exercise down pat, you will discover that you do not need to use the structured process all the time. The 3 steps will be necessary only when you are discussing highly charged subjects or when communication breaks down. Eventually, through months of practice, you will feel safer, become less reactive to your partner's comments, and experience a deeper sense of connection and communication. Directions. 1. Choose who will be the sender and the receiver. The one who decides to be the sender starts the dialogue by saying, "I would like to have a dialogue. Is now an okay time?" When using this process in your relationship, it is important that the receiver respond as soon as possible. If that is not possible, set a time in the near future when you will be available, so your partner will know when he or she will be heard. The sender signals his or her readiness by saying, "I am available now." 2. The sender now talks very briefly, sending the simple message she or he wants the receiver to hear. The message should start with "I" and describe what the sender is thinking or feeling. The first time you do this exercise, choose a message that is neutral and very simple. Example: "I woke up this morning with a sore throat and didn't feel like going to work. I decided to stay home." 3. The receiver then mirrors, paraphrases those words, starting with the words, "If I got it," or "If I heard you accurately." Example: "If I got it, you awakened with a sore throat, and since you don't feel well, you decided to stay home from work. Did I get it?" The sender indicates whether or not the message was correctly received. If the answer is yes, go on to step 4. If the answer is no, the sender explains what was missing or added without a hint of criticism. The receiver mirrors back again. This continues until the sender acknowledges that the message was received as sent. 4. The receiver then asks, "Is there more you want to say about that?" If the sender has more to say, he or she sends an additional message. The receiver continues to mirror back the added information and then ask, "Is there more about that?" until the sender has completed the message. The question, "Is there more about that?" is important. It helps the sender complete all the thoughts and feelings linked with the first statement and prevents the receiver from responding to an incomplete message. And since it is limited to "more about that," it helps the sender limit the message to one subject at a time. 5. When the sender has completed the message, the receiver then summarizes all of the sender's message with this lead-in sentence: "Let me see if I got all of that." When the receiver finishes the summary, he or she asks, "Did I get it all?" The summary is important because it helps the receiver understand the sender more deeply and to see the logic in what was said. This helps with the next step, validation, when the sender indicates that all of the message has been heard accurately. Go on to step 6. 6. Now the receiver validates the sender's message, starting with words such as these. You make sense because, or, it makes sense to me, given that you, or, I can see what you are saying. Example. What you say makes sense, given the fact that you had a sore throat and felt bad. I can understand why you didn't go to work today. This response indicates that the receiver understands the logic of what the sender is saying. It is the sender's truth. The receiver does not have to agree with the sender, but it is essential that the receiver sees the logic or truth of the sender's experience. The receiver checks to see if the sender feels validated. If so, then move on to step 7. 7. The receiver expresses his or her empathy by starting with the following sentence stems. I can imagine that you might be feeling, or I imagine that you felt. Example. I can imagine that you might be feeling frustrated that you had to miss a day of work. Feelings are best stated using one word, such as angry, upset, happy, etc. If you use more than one word, such as you feel you don't want to go to work, you are probably expressing a thought. Then the receiver checks for accuracy by asking, is that what you were feeling? Or did I get your feeling right? If the receiver did not imagine the right feelings or misperceived the expressed feelings, then the sender explains what the feelings are. Once the feeling has been identified correctly, the receiver asks, is there more about that feeling? Continue the process until the exchange is completed. 8. When the receiver has gone through all 3 steps, mirroring, validation, and empathy, the partners switch roles. The new sender, the former receiver, can respond to the partner's original message or may express an unrelated thought or feeling. Go through all the steps as before. 9. Now, use the 3-step Imago dialogue to share what each of you learned about yourself when doing exercise 2, childhood wounds. As you listen, try to visualize your partner's childhood frustrations or pain. When it's your turn to talk, divide your comments into simple, easy-to-remember statements. Exercise 9, the commitment decision. Time, approximately 60 to 90 minutes. Purpose. This exercise serves 2 purposes. 1, it assures that you will stay together while you are working through these exercises. And 2, it creates a sense of safety that gradually increases your level of intimacy. Comments. Do this exercise together. Directions. 1. Imagine that your relationship is represented by a rectangle with perforated sides. The open spaces are your exits, by which I mean all the inappropriate ways that you seek safety, gratify your needs, and drain the energy away from your relationship. In essence, you use an exit to act out your feelings, rather than talking about them with your partner. Each of the 4 corners of the rectangle is a catastrophic exit: suicide, divorce or separation, murder, and insanity. Examine your thoughts and feelings to see if you are contemplating leaving the relationship through any of these corner exits. If so, I urge you to make a decision now to close them for the period of time that you are working together on these exercises. If you cannot make that decision, then I urge you to call an Imago therapist and begin therapy. Go to www.harvillehendrix.com to locate a nearby therapist. If you cannot find an Imago therapist, find a couples therapist in your area. 2. Now take out 4 sheets of paper, 2 for each of you. On your first sheet of paper, make a comprehensive list of your ordinary exits. Ordinary exits are such things as overeating, staying late at work, spending too much time with the children. Anything that you do primarily to avoid your partner. 3. Using the mirroring technique described in Exercise 8, the Imago dialogue, take turns sharing the list of exits you are using. You do not have to use all the steps in the Imago dialogue, just the mirroring portion. Example: Partner A: I am aware that I bring work home for the weekend, and that I do that because I am afraid to spend time with you and get into conflict about something. Partner B: You think you bring home work from the office because you are afraid to spend time with me. Did I understand you correctly? Partner A: Not completely. I said that I think that one of the reasons that I bring work home is to avoid spending time with you, because we get into conflicts, and that is unpleasant for me. I have other reasons too. Partner B: Okay. You are saying that one of the reasons you work over the weekends is to spend less time with me, because we get into conflicts, and that is unpleasant for you. And you have other reasons too. Did I get you this time? Partner A: Yes, you heard me correctly. 4. Now, working with your own list, put a check mark by exits that you are willing to eliminate or use less frequently at the present time. Put an X by those that would be difficult for you to change. 5. Write out the following agreement and fill in the blanks. Starting this week, insert date. Rather than bringing work home, I agree to ask you for a dialogue to talk about why I work on the weekends and my fear of being in conflict with you. Note: it is important to talk about the fear behind your exit. Talking about your fear in the safety of Imago dialogue paradoxically closes the exit of avoidance. After you talk about your feelings, it may be important also to close an exit if it is draining energy that belongs to your relationship. Exercise 10. Re-romanticizing. Review Chapter 8. Time, approximately 60 minutes. Purpose: by sharing specific information about what pleases you and agreeing to pleasure your partner on a regular, consistent basis, you can turn your relationship into a zone of safety. Comments: you can do steps 1 through 3 separately if you wish. Do the remaining steps together. Directions. 1. The first step in this process is to identify what your partner is already doing that pleases you. Get out separate sheets of paper and complete this sentence in as many ways as possible, being specific and positive and focusing on items that happen with some regularity. I feel loved and cared about when you... Examples: fill my coffee cup when it's empty. Let me read the front page of the paper first. Kiss me before you leave the house. Call me from work just to chat. Tell me important things that happen to you. Massage my back. Tell me you love me. Ask if I want a treat from the store. Bring me surprise presents. Sit close to me when we're watching TV. Listen to me when I'm upset. Check with me first before making plans. Pray with me and for me. Make special Sunday dinners. Want to make love to me. Compliment me on the way I look. 2. Now, recall the romantic stage of your relationship. Are there any caring behaviors that you used to do for each other that you are no longer doing? Once again, take out separate sheets of paper and complete this sentence. I used to feel loved and cared about when you, examples, wrote me love letters, brought me flowers, held my hand as we walked, whispered sexy things into my ear, called me up on the phone to say how much you loved me, cooked me special dinners, stayed up late talking and making love, made love more than once a day, kissed me when you went out the door, and hugged me when you came home. 3. Now think about some caring and loving behaviors that you have always wanted but never asked for. These may come from your vision of a perfect mate or from prior experience. They should not, however, refer to activities that are a present source of conflict. These may be very private fantasies. Whenever possible, quantify your request. Complete this sentence. I would like you to, examples, massage me for 30 minutes without stopping, take a shower with me, buy me some jewelry as a surprise, go backpacking with me 3 times each summer, sleep in the nude, go out to brunch with me once a month, read a novel to me over Christmas vacation, eat dinner on the deck. 4. Now combine all 3 lists and indicate how important each caring behavior is to you by writing a number from 1 to 5 beside each one. A 1 indicates very important. A 5 indicates not so important. 5. Exchange lists. Examine your partner's lists and put an X by any items that you are not willing to do at this time. Make sure that you are willing to do all the ones you have not checked. Starting tomorrow, do at least 2 of the non-conflicted behaviors each day for the next 2 months, starting with the ones that are easiest for you to do. Add more items to your list as they occur to you. When your partner does a caring behavior for you, acknowledge it with an appreciative comment. As you will recall from Chapter 8, these caring behaviors are gifts, not obligations. Do them regardless of how you feel about your partner, and regardless of the number of caring behaviors your partner gives you. 6. If either you or your partner experiences some resistance with this exercise, keep on doing the caring behaviors until the resistance is overcome. Exercise 11. The surprise list. Time, approximately 15 to 20 minutes. Purpose? The purpose of this exercise is to augment the caring behaviors in Exercise 10 with unanticipated pleasures, which adds to your feelings of safety and bonding. Comments. This exercise is to be done separately and must be kept secret from your partner. Directions. 1. Make a list of things you could do for your partner that would be especially pleasing. Don't guess. Draw up your list from your memory of things that have pleased your partner in the past, or from hints or comments your partner has made. Become a detective and ferret out your partner's hidden wishes and desires. Keep your list hidden from your partner at all times. 2. Select one item and surprise your partner with it this week. Be sure to do this at least once a week and at random times so that your partner will have difficulty anticipating the surprise. 3. Record the date when you gave each surprise. 4. On a separate sheet of paper, record and date the surprises you receive from your partner. Thank your partner for surprising you. Exercise 12. The Fun List. Time, approximately 20 to 30 minutes. Purpose. This exercise is designed to intensify your emotional bond and deepen your feelings of safety and pleasure. Comments? Do this exercise together. Directions. 1. Make separate lists of fun and exciting activities you would like to do with your partner. These should include face-to-face experiences and any body contact that is physically pleasurable. Examples: tennis, dancing, wrestling, showering together, sex, massage, tickling, jumping rope, bicycling. 2. Now share your lists and compile a third list that combines all of your suggestions. 3. Pick one activity from the list and do it each week. 4. You may experience some resistance to taking part in such exuberant, childlike activities, especially if you have a conflicted relationship. It is important that you do this exercise nonetheless. Go against your natural inclination and experiment with this brief return to childhood. Exercise 13. Positive flooding. Review Chapter 11. Time, approximately 45 minutes. Purpose. This exercise will help you and your partner experience emotional intensity connected to specific physical features, traits, and behaviors you appreciate and love. Speaking with intensity about the positive will also reduce your sensitivity to negative comments that are spoken with intensity. Comments. Use the first 30 minutes working alone to make your lists, and then do the exercise together. Directions. 1. Take out 2 sheets of paper, one for each of you. Each of you takes one piece and divides the sheet into 4 columns. Write in the following 4 headings: physical traits, character traits, behaviors, global affirmations. Now, under the respective columns, write down the physical traits you appreciate about your partner, the positive character traits you adore, the behaviors your partner has done that you appreciate, and global expressions of love such as, "I love you. I can't believe I married someone as wonderful as you." 2. Now, one of you sits in a chair while the other circles around saying the words he or she has written on the paper. Use about 1 minute for each column and increase the intensity of your voice as you go from column to column. When you reach the global affirmations column, jump up and down, your feet leaving the floor. 3. Take out 2 more sheets of paper and design it exactly as the one above, including the same column headings. This time, each of you lists the praises you would like to hear from your partner. Examples: tell me that I have long, beautiful legs. Tell me that I am a trustworthy friend. Tell me that I do an excellent job of managing the house. Tell me that I am a patient, loving parent. Tell me that you love to touch my skin. Tell me that you love to see me undressed. Tell me that I am the best partner you have ever had. Tell me how lucky you are to be with me. 4. Now repeat the circling exercise and take turns flooding each other with these new lists of praise. End the exercise with an intense hug. Let yourself feel all the powerful feelings the exercise evokes. 5. Talk with your partner about what the exercise meant to you, using the Imago dialogue. 6. Repeat this exercise once a week for 4 weeks. Then, make a practice of flooding your partner for a few moments every day. Exercise 14. The Behavior Change Request Dialogue. Review Chapter 10. Time, approximately 60 to 90 minutes. Purpose. The purpose of this exercise is to learn more about each other's deepest needs and to give you the opportunity to change your behavior to meet those needs. As you stretch against your resistance to change, your partner will experience emotional healing, and you will become a more whole and loving individual. Comments. This is a very important exercise. I recommend that you give it your highest priority. Directions. 1. The first step in this exercise is to identify the desires that lie behind your frustrations. On a separate sheet of paper, each of you makes a comprehensive list of all the things that bother you about your partner. What does your partner do that makes you feel angry, annoyed, afraid, suspicious, resentful, hurt, or bitter? After you list the frustrating behavior and the feelings that go with it, see if you can remember feeling that way as a child. Here is an example. Jenny's list. I don't like it when you drive too fast. I feel scared. Leave the house without telling me where you are going. I feel abandoned. Criticize me in front of the children. I feel shamed. Undermine my authority with the children. I feel humiliated. Read the newspaper during dinner. I feel ignored and unimportant. Criticize me in a joking manner in front of friends. I feel shamed. Don't pay attention to what I'm saying. I feel ignored. Turn away from me when I'm upset or crying. I feel abandoned. Criticize me for being indecisive. I feel guilty. Criticize me for being a poor housekeeper. I feel shamed. Keep pointing out the fact that you earn more money than I do. I feel shamed. 2. Now get out a second sheet of paper and write down the global desire that lies hidden within each of your frustrations. Skip several lines after each desire. Do not write down the frustration, only the desire. This is necessary because you will be showing this second sheet to your partner. Example. Global desire corresponds to the first frustration listed in Jenny's list. I would like to feel safe and relaxed when you are driving. 3. Underneath each global desire, write 3 specific requests, each of which would help you satisfy that desire. It is important that your requests be positive and that they describe a specific, doable behavior. Remember the acronym SMART. Each behavior should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to the desire, and time-limited. Then ask your partner to give you one of your requests as a gift. Examples. Global desire. I would like to feel safe and relaxed when you are driving. Specific request 1. For the next month, when you are driving, I would like you to obey the speed limit. If the road conditions are bad, I would like you to drive even more slowly. Specific request 2. For the next 2 weeks, before we get into the car, tell me that you will drive within the speed limit. and give me a hug. Specific request 3. 2 times next week, have a dialogue with me for 15 minutes and ask me how I feel when you drive beyond the speed limit, and help me connect my fear to childhood. Global desire. I would like you to always comfort me when I'm upset. Specific request 1. For the next month, when I tell you that I am upset, I would like you to put your arms around me and give me your full attention for 5 minutes. Specific request 2. Twice this week, I would like you to go for a walk with me after dinner so we can talk about each other's day without interruption. Specific request 3. This week, whenever I tell you that I'm upset, I would like you to look directly at me, listen carefully, and reflect back to me what I said. Notice that these requests are for specific, positive behaviors. The following request is a bad example because it is not specific. Vague request. I would like you to be more attentive. It should be rewritten to make it more detailed. Specific request. For the next 2 weeks, I would like you to give me a warm hug as soon as you come home from work and hold me for 1 full minute. This next request is a bad example because it is negative. Negative request. I would like you to stop yelling at me when you're upset. This should be rewritten so that it describes a positive behavior. Positive request. For the next month, when you were mad at me, I would like you to ask me for what you want in a normal tone of voice. Give me a specific, time-limited, and positive request. 4. Share your second list, the one that lists desires and requests, but not frustrations, with each other. Use your communication skills to clarify each desire and request so that it is clearly understood using SMART behaviors. Rewrite the request if necessary so that the partner knows exactly what kind of behavior you want, how often you want it, how long you want it, and when you want it. 5. Now take back your own list and rank each request on the left side of the page with a number from 1 to 5 indicating its relative importance to you. 1 indicating very important, 5 not very important. 6. Exchange lists once again so that you now have your partner's requests, and assign a number from 1 to 5 on the right side of the paper, indicating how difficult it would be for you to grant each request, with 1 indicating very difficult, 5 not at all difficult. 7. Keep your partner's list. Starting today, you have the opportunity to grant your partner 3 or 4 of the easiest requests each week. Remember that these behaviors are gifts. Regardless of how you feel, and regardless of how many changes your partner is making, keep to a reliable schedule of at least 3 or 4 behavior changes a week. You are encouraged to add more requests to your lists as time goes on. Exercise 15. The holding exercise. Time approximately 30 minutes. Purpose. This exercise is designed to deepen your empathy and connection with your partner. It may also allow you to re-experience and release stored pain or sadness from your childhood. Comments. Find a place where you can sit comfortably for as long as 15 minutes. You may want back support. Then, take turns holding each other and following the forthcoming directions. The person being held lies across the partner's lap with his or her head against the heart of the holding partner. Let yourself be aware of your experience of holding and being held in this way. Note, this is not what is called a regression exercise. Each of you will be speaking as an adult, not as a young child. Directions. Decide who will be the holder and who will be held. Get into a comfortable position, with the head of the person being held close to the heart of the holder. 1. The holder begins the exercise by asking, "Tell me about the pain and frustration of your childhood." The person being held talks about early, hurtful experiences. After every few sentences, the holder mirrors back what the partner has said. If the person being held cannot remember any pain from childhood, he or she can talk about any relationship pain outside of the current relationship. If the person being held cries or sobs, the holding partner encourages those feelings and mirrors them. "You must have felt so sad. You went through so much pain. I can see how much it hurt. Your tears make me want to cry." 2. Once the memories are over, the holder says, "What was the worst part of that?" The person being held responds, "The worst part was..." The holder listens empathetically and then says, "Thank you for telling me." The person being held says, "Thanks for listening." 3. Change roles and repeat the exercise. 4. Now write down your own childhood pain and injury and your partner's pain and injury. In the days to come, bring to mind your partner's early experiences and visualize your partner's hurts when he or she was a child. Exercise 16. Owning and eliminating your negativity. Review Chapter 11. Time, approximately 45 minutes. Purpose. This exercise will help you create more safety and passion in your relationship by helping you let go of your negative thoughts and behaviors toward your partner and replace them with loving thoughts and behaviors. Comments. When you focus on your partner's negative qualities, you tend to ignore the positive traits. If you go one step farther and criticize your partner for having those negative traits, your partner becomes defensive and may go on the attack. This climate of negativity feeds on itself. This exercise turns the tables. It focuses your attention on your partner's positive traits and encourages you to praise your partner more often. The result? You begin to feel much more positive toward each other and to treat each other with more love and respect. This positive climate is also self-reinforcing. What you pay attention to is what you get. Directions. Do this exercise separately, and then, using the Imago dialogue, talk about what you learned about yourself with your partner. Work alone through point 5. Then invite your partner into dialogue for point 6. Do the remaining steps on your own at a later date. It is important that you follow the instructions exactly as stated. 1. Take out several sheets of lined paper. Think about all the negative words you use to describe your partner. Include words that you have spoken in a heated situation, when name-calling, and negative words you have thought about your partner, but not spoken out loud. Write down these words in a column on the left side of your paper. One word or phrase on every second line. This leaves room to write a sentence or two by each trait. 2. Now recall a behavior your partner has done that illustrates each negative word or phrase. Write it beside the word. Here's an example. Negative trait, always late. Related behavior, last night she was late coming home for dinner. Negative trait, neglectful. Related behavior, she forgot to get me anything for my birthday. Negative trait, controlling. Related behavior, she always wants things her way. We always watch the movies that she wants to see. 3. Look through your list and circle the trait that bothers you the most. 4. Now write a second list of your partner's positive traits and behaviors. Write down as many positive traits as you wrote down negative traits. Example: positive trait, kind. Related behavior: yesterday she drove our elderly next-door neighbor to his doctor appointment. Positive trait, funny. Related behavior: when we were out to dinner with friends, she had everyone laughing. Positive trait, hard-working. Related behavior: last weekend, she painted both bedrooms. 5. Now go back to your list of criticisms. Look at the first negative behavior on your list. Close your eyes and visualize your partner doing that behavior. When you have it clearly in mind, release the image, and then bring to mind a positive behavior your partner has done that you do like. Look at your list of positive traits for suggestions. Hold the positive image in your mind and note how you feel. Do this for all the negative words on your list. 6. Use the Imago dialogue to discuss with your partner what you learned about yourself doing this exercise. This is not the time to talk about what you don't like about your partner. You are sharing self-discoveries. 7. In the next few days, when you have a negative thought about something your partner has done, release it and think of something she or he has done that you do like. 8. In the next few days, make it a point to tell your partner about only the positive things he or she has done that you appreciate. If you have a negative thought or memory, release it. 9. When your partner does or says something that you wish hadn't happened, refrain from criticism. Instead, use the Behavior Change Request dialogue, Exercise 14, to make a request for a positive change in behavior. Exercise 17, Self-Integration. Review Chapter 2. Time, approximately 15 to 30 minutes. Purpose. The purpose of this exercise is to integrate aspects of your disowned self, your false self, and your lost self, making you more aware of your essential wholeness. Comments. Because you have been faithfully performing these exercises for several weeks, you have been enlarging your sense of self by eroding your false self, integrating your denied self, and recovering your lost self. This exercise is designed to help you become more conscious of these changes. You can do the exercise separately or together. Directions. 1. Take out a sheet of paper and draw a vertical line down the middle. 2. Now draw 2 horizontal lines across the paper so that the sheet is divided horizontally into thirds. Your page should now be divided into 6 equal boxes. 3. Flip through your notebook until you find your response to the Imago workup, Exercise 3, and the Partner Profile, Exercise 5. In the top left box of the paper you have just divided into 6 boxes, list the predominant negative traits of your caretakers and your partner. Label these traits, "My disowned self." Think about the extent to which these negative traits may be true of you. Has anyone, especially your partner, told you that you possess these traits? For the moment, assume that these traits are descriptive of you. What would you be like, or how would you behave if you didn't have these traits? Write a description of the person you would be without these negative traits in the upper right box of your paper. Write them as short, positive statements, beginning with the word I. For example, I am warm. I am responsible. I am nurturing. 4. In the middle box on the left side of your page, list your caretaker's positive traits and your partner's positive traits. It may be that some of these positive traits are a description of your lost self, parts of yourself that you repressed in childhood. Label this box, "My lost self." Look at this box and ask yourself if you have ever been asked by your partner or other significant people in your life to develop these traits. Assuming that these traits represent repressed aspects of yourself, how would you behave, or what would you be like if you had these traits? Write your answers in the middle box on the right side of your page. Once again, use simple, positive statements in the present tense. I am artistic. I am spiritual. I am conscientious. I am creative. 5. Think about the traits that you had to develop in order to get or keep your parents' love. And think about the kinds of things you do today to try to get people to like you. List those traits in the bottom box on the left side of your page. Examples: I try to be perfect. I am compliant. I am super responsible. I always try to please. I don't express my anger. Label this box, "My false self." Now think about the way you would be and behave if you were free of such adaptive characteristics. List these traits and behaviors you would have in the bottom box on the right side of your page. Use simple, positive statements. I am assertive. I can express anger. I can relax and don't have to try to be perfect. 6. On top of the 3 boxes, on the right-hand side of your page, write the words, "My true self." These 3 right-hand boxes are a description of your true potential. Read this description once a week. As you read it, note areas where the description does not match your current reality. Visualize yourself changing so that the description is a valid one. Exercise 18. Visualization of love. Time, 1 minute, 3 times each day. Purpose. This exercise uses the power of visualization to amplify the positive changes you have been making in your relationship. Comments. This exercise becomes a daily meditation. Directions. 1. 3 times each day, do the following. Close your eyes, take several deep breaths, and visualize your partner. Gradually refine the image until you see your partner as a whole spiritual being who has been wounded in the ways you now know about. Hold this image in your mind and imagine that your love is healing your partner's wounds. 2. Now visualize the energy of love that you are sending to your partner, coming back to you and healing your wounds. Imagine that this energy flows back and forth between you in a continuous oscillation. When a minute is up, open your eyes and continue whatever you are doing. Seeking professional help. Some of you may want to deepen your understanding of your relationship and gain additional skills by working with a couples therapist. Fortunately, couples therapy has lost much of the stigma that it had in earlier years. Years ago, only people who were in great pain or who were very courageous signed up for couples counseling. Now, more and more couples are deciding to seek help before irrevocable damage is done. They want to enhance the quality of their lives, and they realize that nothing is more important to them than their primary love relationship. They have the healthy attitude that going to a therapist is no different from going to any skilled teacher. You learn faster and better if you get expert supervision. One of the main benefits of seeing a therapist is that you will speed up the integration of material from your unconscious. A therapist can help you maneuver around your blind spots and assimilate material from your unconscious that might take you months or years to assimilate on your own. As a result, you will spend a lot less time spinning your wheels. Another good reason to enlist the aid of a therapist is to give you an added measure of safety and support. When you are working on new material and begin to experience some anxiety, a therapist will help you understand your fears. Given reassurance and insight, you will probably be able to plunge ahead instead of retreating to safer ground. This will prove especially valuable for couples who are experiencing a great many problems. A final reason for seeking professional counseling is to provide a structured environment for growth. If you are short on discipline or motivation, having a weekly appointment and paying a therapist a good deal of money can give you added incentive. If you are interested in working with a couples therapist, I have some general recommendations. My advice is that you look for a therapist whose primary area of expertise is relationship therapy, not individual therapy, so that he or she will be well versed in the complexities of love relationships. Furthermore, I recommend that you look for a therapist who will work with you jointly in what is referred to in professional circles as conjoint couples therapy. If you see separate therapists or the same therapist at different times, you might inadvertently focus on issues that would help you live more autonomously, not help you live more harmoniously as a couple. Dwelling on matters that are not directly relevant to your relationship may help you as an individual, but there is some evidence that it might not be the best way to strengthen your marriage. When you are seeing a therapist together, you will more clearly see how your personal issues affect the state of your relationship. And both your personal and relationship issues can be resolved together. How do you go about selecting a couples therapist? A person professing to be a therapist may be a clergyman, a social worker, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, an educator, or in some states, simply a person with strong views on love relationships. A therapist's training may vary from years of postgraduate training to none at all. In some states, all that's required for a license as a marital therapist is a recommendation by someone who already has a license. For this reason, it is wise to choose your therapist on the basis of a referral. Get recommendations from friends or from the minister of a church who has successfully referred a large number of couples. If you are unable to get a referral, look in your phone book under the headings American Association of Pastoral Counselors, American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy, Association of Clinical Social Workers, Marriage Counselors, or Mental Health. If you live in a large city, there may be a special referral service that will match you up with an appropriate therapist. When you have been given the name of a particular therapist, there are a number of things you should check out. First, make sure the therapist is fully accredited by a recognized organization, such as the American Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, the American Association of Pastoral Counselors, the American Psychological Association, or the American Psychiatric Association. When you are satisfied that the therapist meets your initial criteria, sign up for a preliminary interview to see if you would feel comfortable working together. Some therapists will waive the fees for this initial consultation. Find out the therapist's views on relationship therapy. Most important of all, trust your instincts. You are looking for a therapist who is a caring, warm, sensitive person who gives you a feeling of safety and confidence. Even if you like the therapist, it is wise to interview more than one person so that you have a basis for comparison. If you're interested in working with a therapist specifically trained in Imago relationship therapy, or wish to attend a Getting the Love You Want couples workshop, please call 1-800-729-1121 or visit our website at www.harvillehendrix.com. We hope you've enjoyed this Macmillan audio production of Getting the Love You Want. Text copyright 1988 and 2008 by Harville Hendrix. Production copyright 2008 by Macmillan Audio. All rights reserved.